Welcome to the deep dive. Today, we're really getting into the career and impact of Rahul Dravid.
Yeah, fascinating figure in cricket. We've got quite a bit to draw on Reddit discussions, his Wikipedia page, CricBuzz stats.
The BCCI announcement about his Hall of Fame induction, that Indian Express piece on his coaching.
Right, and even a Z News article touching on his personal life, so
Yeah.
a good mix.
Definitely. And what jumps out straight away is that reputation, isn't it? Mr. Dependable, the wall.
Absolutely. Those names weren't just given lightly. They reflect that incredibly solid technique, that dependability. And, I mean, 24,000 international runs, that's massive.
It really is. And it's interesting how people still talk about him, especially compared to other greats from that era. Like on Reddit, you see debates about his overseas record versus, say, Tendulkar or Sehwag.
There's definitely a feeling among some fans that Dravid was the guy who'd dig in when things got really tough, particularly away from home.
Yeah, I saw one comment, something like, before Dravid, if Sachin failed, the game was basically lost. Which really tells you something about the reliance on him.
It speaks volumes, doesn't it? About his mental strength, his ability to just absorb pressure. It shows how different players, even superstars, bring unique value.
So that's our mission today, really,
Yeah.
to kind of unpack what made Dravid, his playing style, those key moments.
His achievements, maybe some that fly under the radar a bit.
Right, and his impact beyond just playing as a captain and now obviously as coach too.
Okay, so where do we start? His early career.
Yeah, let's go back to the beginning. His Ranji Trophy debut was in '91, right? While he was still in college.
That's right, February 91. And playing alongside guys like Kumble and Srinath, even then, future India teammates, shows the talent pool.
And he made an impact pretty quickly, didn't he? Scored a century soon after debuting.
Yeah, against Bengal, then banged out 3 more hundreds pretty fast, according to his wiki page anyway. He was definitely making waves.
So not just knocking on the door?
More like kicking it down, which naturally got the selector's attention. He got his first call up to the national squad in '94.
Ah, for the Wills World Series. But he didn't actually play then.
No, didn't make the 11. Had to go back to domestic cricket and wait a bit longer.
Must have been tough. And it seems some people thought he should have been in the '96 World Cup squad. I read about a newspaper headline questioning his absence.
Yeah, suggests he was already highly rated by those watching closely. His time finally came just after that World Cup, April '96, an ODI against Sri Lanka in Singapore.
How did that first match go?
Not exactly a dream debut, scored just 3, and his first few ODIs were a bit of a struggle, really.
Right. The sources mention that. But his test debut, that was a different story, later that same year.
Oh, absolutely. June '96 at Lord's. Came in because Manjrekar was injured, and he made 95.
95 at Lord's on debut. That's huge.
It was. And Dravid himself apparently reflected later how crucial that innings was. He said it bought him breathing space, gave him the belief he belonged.
You can imagine. And didn't he score well in the next test, too?
Yeah, an 80 at Trent Bridge. So those early England performances were key for establishing him in tests.
Okay, so we see this pattern early on, doing well in tests, but maybe finding his feet a bit more in ODIs between '96 and '98.
Exactly. He was building that test foundation, got his first test 100 in South Africa, that 148 at the Wanderers.
First man of the match award for that one, too, right?
Yeah. And he was incredibly consistent in tests around then, 750s in 8 matches at one point, including 6 in a row.
Wow. Just needed to convert more of those 50s, maybe.
Perhaps, but the consistency was undeniable. Meanwhile, still adapting to the one-day rhythm.
Then comes the '98-'99 season. Sound like a big one for him in tests.
Huge. Over 750 runs, 4 centuries. Topped the run charts for India that season. Really cemented his place.
Hundreds against Zimbabwe and Sri Lanka in that period.
That's right. Though he got injured fielding in that Sri Lanka match during the Asian Test Championship.
Okay, so test career taking off. What about the ODIs then? He was getting tagged as a test specialist, wasn't he? Criticized for strike rate.
Yeah, that tag was definitely there. But you see him adapting. Even back in '96, he was the highest scorer in the Friendship Cup against Pakistan in Toronto.
Ah, okay. So the potential was there.
Definitely. Then he got his first ODI ton in '97, again against Pakistan, though India lost that one.
And that New Zealand tour in '98-'99 seems important for his ODI game.
Very. Scored a runnable 100 in the first match, finished as top scorer for the series, showed he could score quickly.
He also got a century against Sri Lanka around then, and his first international wicket.
Ah, yes. Syed Anwar, no less. So adding a few strings to his bow.
Which brings us neatly to the '99 World Cup, a big tournament for him personally.
Massive. He was the top run scorer in the whole tournament, 461 runs.
And those huge partnerships with Tendulkar and Ganguly.
Record-breaking stuff. He hit his first World Cup 100, then another one straight after. Incredible consistency under pressure.
And he even kept wicket for a bit.
Yeah, the regular keeper got injured. Just shows his team-first attitude, willing to do whatever was needed.
His great form didn't stop after the World Cup either, did it?
Not at all. Got 100 in the Singapore Challenge final right after. And get this, he was the highest international run scorer across all formats in 1999.
Wow. And then that massive ODI innings against New Zealand, 153.
His career best. And that partnership with Tendulkar, 331 runs, that record stood for 15 years.
Yeah.
Just incredible.
Really cemented him as a top ODI player too then.
Absolutely. Led to him becoming ODI vice captain in 2000.
And his rise continued into the early 2000s in both formats.
Yeah, he played a key role in India, reaching the final of the ICC Knockout Trophy in 2000.
And that Zimbabwe series in 2001 sounds unbelievable.
It was. Unbeaten double hundred and finished the series with an average of, wait for it, 432.
432, that's just absurd.
It really is. A level of dominance you rarely see.
And then the famous 2001 series against Australia, we all remember Laxman and Harpajan, but Dravid played his part too.
Absolutely vital. Took some crucial catches, batted solidly, and he actually topped the averages for India for the whole 2001 Test season. Consistent excellence.
So by now he's indispensable. And this leads into what many call his peak years, right? Roughly 2002 to 2006.
Definitely his golden period. The sheer volume of runs. Nearly 9,000 across formats in those few years.
And some incredibly gutsy innings in there, like that 100 in the West Indies with a broken jaw. Or was it swollen?
Badly swollen jaw, yeah. Just immense grit. And that innings helped India win their first test in the Caribbean for over 25 years.
Then that England series in 2002. 300s.
300s in 4 tests. He was just phenomenal. There's that quote about a Martian landing and thinking Dravid was the best batsman on the planet at that moment.
High praise indeed. And he was named joint man of the series.
Deservedly so. And he kept contributing in ODIs, too. India shared the 2002 Champions Trophy, and Dravid chipped in with runs and kept wicket again sometimes.
Plus, he became the first Indian to score hundreds in 4 consecutive Test innings around this time.
That's right. Just on fire.
And the 2003 World Cup, he was the designated keeper batsman.
Yeah, a strategic move that allowed India to play an extra batsman. It worked well. They reached the final. Dravid scored over 300 runs and took 16 dismissals. Very versatile.
The 2003-04 season sounds incredible, too.
Yeah.
Topping the run charts again, 3 double centuries.
And then Adelaide, that 233 against Australia, just iconic.
Yeah, turned the match and the series on its head. Ganguly's quote, "Rahul batted like God," says it all. Player of the series, too.
Absolutely. Then he captained the side in Pakistan in 2004. Controversial declaration aside.
Yes, the Multan Declaration was Sachin on 194.
But India won their first ever test series in Pakistan. And Dravid himself hit a double hundred in the final test. He also topped the international test averages that season again.
And we shouldn't forget his ODI keeping. He did it quite a bit, didn't he?
Yeah, 73 matches as designated keeper, 84 dismissals. Pretty decent record, allowing that crucial team balance.
And still scoring runs. 200s in the same test against Pakistan in 2005.
Exactly.
Yeah.
So it's no surprise he swept the ICC awards in 2004, Player of the Year, Test Player of the Year, plus the Padma Shri. Just recognition of his dominance.
So that was the peak. What about after that? Captaincy, later career.
Well, he captained India in the 2007 World Cup, which obviously didn't go well for the team.
Right, a low point. But even later in his career, he had some amazing moments. That 2011 England tour comes to mind.
Oh, absolutely. India got hammered 4-0, but Dravid was just immense. 3 centuries. He stood tall when everyone else struggled.
The England coach even named him India's man of the series, didn't he?
He did. Andrew Flower. Huge respect shown there for his resilience and skill in tough English conditions.
Then he retired from limited overs in 2011 and tests in 2012. A huge void to fill.
Definitely. Though he did play IPL for RCB and then Rajasthan Royals. Even led Rajasthan, took them to the Champions League final and IPL playoffs. Showed his T20 nose, too.
Okay, let's talk a bit about that playing style. Solid technique, hard to get out.
That's the essence of it. The wall wasn't just a nickname. It was how he played once he got in.
Yeah.
We were surprised if he got out, as that Redditor said.
Exactly. And statistically, 4th highest test run scorer ever. Most catches by a non-keeper in Test 210. Incredible concentration.
And that stat about never getting a golden duck in tests, mind-blowing.
286 innings. It's remarkable. Plus, records for most balls faced, most time spent at the crease. He just occupied the crease.
Partnered Tendulkar for the highest partnership in Test history, too. And his away average was better than his home average.
Yeah, which is unusual and speaks volumes about his technique and temperament in all conditions.
Len McGrath's quote about his mental strength sums it up well, doesn't it? No obvious weaknesses.
McGrath said you had to be on your game from ball one, because once Dravid was set, he wasn't going anywhere fast.
He even got a Test wicket.
The complete player. And the honors kept coming. Wisden Cricketer of the Year in 2000, Padma Bhushan later on.
But he wasn't just defensive, was he? That fast as 50 off 22 balls. Shows he could change gears. And scoring 10,000 runs at number 3. Only one other batsman has done that at a single position. Just underlines his importance.
Now, you mentioned the Multan Declaration. That seems to be one of the few real controversies associated with him.
It's certainly the one most often discussed regarding his captaincy. A tough call, balancing team strategy and individual milestones. Still debated today.
Right. So after hanging up his boots, he moved into coaching pretty smoothly.
Very much so. Mentoring roles, then coaching India U19 and India A. Hugely successful there.
Winning the U19 World Cup in 2018 and bringing through so many players who are now regulars in the senior team.
Exactly. Guys like Pant, Kishan, Gill, a lot of them came through that system under him. Shows his eye for talents and development skills.
And then, of course, the top job head coach of the senior team, culminating in the T20 World Cup win in 2024.
A fantastic achievement, and that Indian Express piece had a great quote about his philosophy.
Helping the captain deliver his vision.
Yeah, very much about facilitating, supporting the team leaders. Seems very consistent with his own playing ethos.
Let's touch on the personal side briefly. The Z News article mentioned his wife, Viheta.
Yes, Vieta Pendarkar, a medical surgeon. It's a nice story. Their families were friends, and they eventually got married in 2003.
And she apparently put her career on hold to support him and raise their kids?
Seems so. That support structure is often crucial for athletes at that level. They have 2 sons, Samit and Anvay. And Anvay is playing cricket too, apparently.
Following in his father's footsteps, maybe? Sounds like a solid foundation off the field.
It appears so. And finally, the ultimate recognition, perhaps the ICC Hall of Fame induction in 2018.
Yeah, the BCCI announcement highlighted that. Only the 5th Indian cricketer to get that honor. A huge deal.
A totally fitting tribute. Puts him alongside the absolute legends of the game, which is exactly where he belongs based on his career, his stats, his impact.
So wrapping this up, what are the big takeaways from this deep dive on Dravid?
For me, it's that combination of dependability and actually adaptability. He wasn't just the wall. He evolved his game, took on different roles like keeping wicket.
Right, and performed under immense pressure, often when the team needed him most. The sheer consistency is staggering.
The aha moments are maybe realizing the breadth of his contribution. The runs, yes, but also the catches, the partnerships, shielding others, the captaincy, and now the coaching success. It's a complete cricketing life.
Which leads to a final thought for you, the listener. When you think about Dravid, that quiet focus, the team-first mentality, the incredible perseverance, how does that resonate today?
Yeah, in a world that often values flashiness and maybe individual glory, what's the place for that kind of steady, dependable, almost understated contribution?
Something to ponder, perhaps. How much do we value stability and resilience, not just in sport, but elsewhere? A great question to leave things on. Thanks for joining us on the Deep Dive.